our mothers were traditional women. Women today are not traditional women. They don't have the class our mothers had. They don't have the mentality our mothers had. They don't have the patience.
What's the definition of a traditional woman?
A traditional woman thinks of her family before she thinks of her own self.
That's your
That's
definition.
a traditional. That's your mother. All our mothers thought of the kid, thought of the father, and thought of the house, even thought of the house helpers before she even thought of herself. That's a traditional woman.
And that is the reason why most of the women in our mother's generation are filled with bitterness and are resentful. This is the exact reason why, because they put everybody before themselves. Most of our mothers sacrificed their lives and their existence for their family, for their husband and their children. And as a result, most of them are filled with bitterness and resentment. Consequently, they hold the sacrifices that they made over their children. And that is the reason why most African mothers have an unhealthy attachment to their children, because they sacrificed everything for their children and their family. So you would hear African mothers say that after everything I did for you children, I sacrificed everything for you children, I deserve better than this. That is the reason why most African mothers have an unhealthy attachment to their children. Do you know how sad it is to go through life and to center your life around being a wife and a mother? That is sad. Most of our mothers had no identity outside of being a wife and a mother. And most of them would die without having any sense of identity. However, men never put anyone first. Men put themselves first. Most of your fathers put themselves first. You will hardly see a man put his wife and his children first. Men always put themselves first. So why should we follow the steps of our mothers, most of whom are bitter and are filled with resentment because they put everybody ahead of themselves? And this is why I say this. Most men do not love their mothers. They love the sacrifices that their mothers made for them. Because if you would sit with your mother and you ask her about her perspectives, and if she had the opportunities that we have in this generation, if you ask your mother if she would have made the same choices that she made, she would tell you she would have made different choices. She would have perhaps pursued a career, travel around the world, and perhaps never get married. But most men don't even sit to have this heartfelt conversation with their mothers to understand marriage from the perspective of their mothers, because marriage for their mothers was about self-sacrifice. Our mothers were socialized in a generation where they were told that being a good woman is about sacrificing for your husband and your children and putting yourself last. And that created a generation of women who are filled with bitterness and resentment because they put themselves last. As a woman, put yourself first. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Our mothers did not prioritize emotional health and mental health, and that is why most of them were damaged and traumatized in marriage, and they are not healed, and most of them are filled with bitterness and resentment. The women of this generation, we put ourselves first, we put our emotional health first, and we put our mental health first. You cannot raise healthy and wholesome children if you do not put yourself first as a woman. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And I'm sorry to say this, but most of our mothers believe they did a good job, but they did not do a good job raising us because they were not healthy emotionally and mentally. And subsequently, most of our mothers passed on their own trauma and brokenness to their children. And most of us Africans, we are not healed. A lot of us walk around with a lot of trauma, but we do not even recognize and accept the dysfunctional homes we were raised in. So no, I do not want to be a traditional woman who puts everybody first and put herself last. Men always choose themselves, and therefore I will always choose myself and put myself first because I cannot pour from an empty cup. Dear women, decenter men. Even in marriage, decenter your husband, put yourself first, and then focus on your kids. The men will be fine because men always put themselves first. My name is Dr. Zita. I am a sociologist. This is the dawn of a new day. If you're not following, guess what? Hit the follow button.
Guys, unfortunately, once again, we have to come out here and talk about these dusties coming out here being so loud for no reason. So as you guys can see, we have this angry black male here on your screen, basically coming out here doing something that we know that these male literally every other day we can come across a video of a black male coming out here crying about one, white man not making them be male, two, black woman won't submit to them, three, they want to go back in the time when women were traditional. These male are consistently coming out here begging for time to go back when women basically were barefoot and pregnant. These male are consistently coming out here saying that how us modern day women, we're not traditional, we don't want to take care of the family. These men will literally be coming out here and just throwing these type of word out here, not really knowing the meaning behind it, because even though these men will come out here and they will be begging for a woman to be traditional, these men has absolutely no concept of what a traditional man was, because far as I'm concerned, traditional men, they had all of their teeth, but this is something that this male will come out here and they will want to say, well, even though I'm missing a tooth, you as a modern day woman, you should accept me just as I am, because back in the day, your grandmother, your mom, she was in this docile role and she will literally accept everything from her dusty husband, aka my dusty dad, who we already know tend to abandon these male more than any other group of male, right? But that is something that they will not come out here and they will never say that, because at the end of the day, it will mean that they will be putting the accountability precisely where it belongs. And just like this beautiful commentator here, these male are consistently coming out here talking about the modern day woman, they're nothing like their mom, they're nothing like their grandma. Sir, newsflash, we don't want to be like her mom. We don't want to be like her grandmother, because just like this beautiful content creator here said, the majority of said women, they have very deep resentment for us as their kids, for us as their grandchildren, because they're seeing us, we're out here living our life. We're not putting these male before ourselves. Guys, I literally know of mothers who have told their kids if they had a time machine, if they can go back in time, the kids wouldn't even be here, because they have told their kids literally to their face, I would have never aborted you. But then we have these same lowest hanging group of society continuously coming out here. Look at him just being so loud, being so wrong, being so bitter. Again, these male will be consistently coming out here talking about they want traditional women. But you guys do know what traditionalism mean for these male, right? Traditionalism don't mean that you as a woman, you're going to stay home, you're going to take care of the household. These male, their little dusty mind, what traditionalism mean for them is that they want you to go out here. They want you to be in these 50-50 struggle situation shit. They also want you to be submissive to them. They want you to carry the kids, which we already know soon as they impregnate y'all with said kid, we already know these little dusty males, they're just gonna up and go. So I think it is quite comical for these lowest hanging fruit to continuously be coming out here trying to talk about something that they have absolutely no idea what it's all about. But again, we can't really expect much from the lowest hanging group of society, because these are the only group of male that are consistently coming out here begging for submission, begging for women to take care of them, begging for white men to allow them to be men. So at the end of the day, if these male are these little damsel in distress, other group of male can come and take them out of the house like they continuously come out here and say, then why does these male need not only a partner, a woman, but also why do these male need to have kids? Because they will be coming out here talking about traditionalism this, traditionalism that. Our mother, she sacrificed her entire well-being so that she could take care of the family. And just like that beautiful content creator said, yes, but now she secretly not only resent the Dusty that we already know he went off and he left her, but she also resent the kids that she decided that she was going to be completely devoted to, because at the end of the day, no one asked her mother, no one asked her grandmother, no one asked her sister to literally put everyone before themselves. And just like she said, this is precisely why you will have all of these mothers out here. Yes, they will raise their kids, but we already know for the most part, if these women, they can go back in time, just like that lady that I told you guys, I personally how hard this woman literally speak those words. If the majority of these same women that this dust bucket is coming out here talking about, I can assure you, if they have this little magic stick, if they can go back in time, they wouldn't have kids either. You guys know I also had to hop in the comment section to see what people were saying. So this first commentator said, what did my mom get for 33 years of marriage? She said, torture, abuse, emotional blackmail from my dad, and ended up dying a painful death this year, 28 January 2025, all in the name of my family. Again, these women, they will voluntarily sign up for this type of mistreatment. Then certain time in their life when they realize that they didn't really went out here, they didn't did what they wanted to do with their life, they don't really have any type of hobby, you will see once these women, their kids, they're now all grown up, they're these empty nester. These women literally, they don't be knowing what to do with their life because they literally decided that they were going to dedicate their entire life to these kids as well as these low-hanging fruits. So absolutely not. Us modern day women, like y'all like to say, we absolutely don't have the same mindset that our mother had. And trust and believe me when I said we don't intend to anytime soon either. This one say, why is it shouting? Not only it, but yes, they're shouting because once again, these are the most angry group of males to continuously come out here and be pleading for women to submit to them. Dusty, submit to what? Dust? No, thank you. You can see us women, we're out here thriving. A lot of women, they're intentionally coming out here and they're deciding that they're going to be single because why do you need a parasite such as this to be in your life? Because this male, even though he literally have no idea what a traditional man is, this male will want you as a woman to be out here potentially taking care of him while still wanting you to cater to him. Just the audacity of these lowest hanging fruit. This other one said, he should please marry his mother and stop shouting. And lastly, guys, this one say, now, let's go back and ask what kind of husband their father was to their mother. And I think that we already know the answer of that. This is precisely why I feel like the majority of these women, just like that content creator eloquently said, the majority of these women, they secretly resent us as their kids. They resent their grandchildren because once again, they're living vicariously through us. So then they look at us and they say, why didn't I put myself first? So for these lowest hanging fruit to come out here and trying to shame you into having the same, I'm sorry, but dusty mindset as her grandmother, as her mother, as her aunt, absolutely not, Black woman. This is a new day. This is a new wave. And I'm extremely proud to see that Black woman, so much of us were coming out here. Personally, I've never had a cape to burn, but I'm happy to see that a lot of Black women that unfortunately, they also fall into the same dusty mindset as their mother, as their grandmother. I'm happy to see that because of platforms like mine and other Black women that are also out here talking about these type of stuff, a lot more Black women are finally realizing that you deserve so much better. They're ultimately coming out here and burning the cape. So ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, this is all that I have to say on this whole predicament. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this Dusty coming out here being so loud, being so wrong, being so bitter. talking about us modern day women, we don't want to sacrifice ourselves for the family. We don't have the mindset like her mother or grandmother had. And once again, Dusty, we have no desire whatsoever to have such mindset. Nonetheless, guys, this is all that I have to say on this whole predicament. What are your thoughts and opinion, or please get in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.
Black women, it's time to hold ourselves accountable because we are reaping what we sowed. We have lied and gassed black men up for centuries, letting them think that they are kings with no kingdoms, letting them think that they are the emperor when they are naked. And now we are dealing with the consequences of those actions. Instead of being honest with black men and requiring them to do better for not only themselves, but the community that they helped create, we have allowed them to tear it apart and then put it back together quietly behind their backs and then still let them get the credit for it.